So believe it or not, I've been hired. All of my, ramblings, all my postings, all my putting things on, have finally, unbeknownst to anybody, unbeknownst to everyone, I've been hired to do a 5-part series, a 5-part lecture, sort of like a symposium, to discuss. I've been hired to give a 5-part lecture discussing Plato's The Cave. And so, for those of you who don't know what Plato's Allegory of the Cave is, then you better go wash your butts, okay? Because you're way behind. If a dog has heard of the Allegory of the Cave, now I will say this, since I can't read, I haven't read the Allegory of the Cave, but I was on PBS. I was watching PBS in the big, beautiful, boxy, lovely, high-ceilinged main, whatever you call it, in the parlor of the manor house. We were watching on the big, giant, it's a pure block TV. It's a pure square. It's like it's a beautiful square, and in the middle is a much smaller square, a rectangle, a little square. It's the screen. But you can watch, it's very vivid colors. The man has the colors dialed way up. So it's the orange and brights and the reds and the greens. It's beautiful. But I watched, narrated by Orson Welles, the We Will Sell No Wine Before It's Time guy. The guy who said, "We will sell no wine before it's time," and he patted his hand on a big box of wine. Orson Welles, awesome Orson Welles. He narrated the allegory of Plato's cave. So that's how I learned. Now, what is the meaning? The bottom line, the meaning is something to do with it's the educated versus the uneducated. It's very, very, what do you call it, when the elites are highbrow, looking down at their noses at you, and they're giddy up on the horses. They're giddy up on the high horses. The elites, So it's the educated. The whole thing deals with the educated, and that the philosopher is some kind of, we're going to get into it in better detail. I'm going to describe the whole thing, but the whole. If you don't know it, you got to watch it. Okay, it's not going to do me any good to try to explain it to you. It's almost like me, as if I could try to explain. If you haven't seen it, my lectures won't hit home. You have to do the homework. You have to watch or read the Allegory of the Cave, and then you'll know what's going on as I explain it to you. But, it's as if, for me to try to explain the Allegory of the Cave before you ever read it or watched Orson Welles, the guy who would say, we will sell no wine before it's time, unless you watch it on PBS or you read it, then, it's like me trying to explain, it's like almost like it'd be like as if I was trying to explain how all the heavy-set girls, you can't say fat, it's not fat girls, it's heavy-set, they're curvy, they're big girls, they're overweight girls. How is the heavy girls get the swimsuit issues? The swimsuit issue of a Sports Illustrated, it used to be the whole premise was girls with beautiful, gorgeous bodies. We're going to put them in frilly little bathing suits, and then that enhances, I wish I could see behind or underneath the bathing suit, and it entices you more, and you have the sexual whatever where you're watching something and you want to, you become lustful. And that's what it was about. It was about beautiful, beautiful girls, stunning faces, stunning bodies, but mostly the body. They had to have beautiful faces, and they tried to get the beautiful faces, but they, had to have the stunning body, And then, they drifted towards, away from the beautiful, perfect, idealized version of a girl or a woman, a young lady, a beautiful person in a swimsuit, to now it's got to have big, heavy girls in the swimsuits. And you're like, wait a second, it's bastardizing the whole concept. You're not going to let the little people run around playing basketball. No one's going to say to the NBA, hey, you got too many big, tall guys, too many athletic guys. You need more slow people, a lot short people. You got to get the 5'4" people a chance. I know you had Spud Webb and a couple other guys like that, but and Mookie Monk, the guy who was Bugsy Mogs. But you got to have you get one every like 15, 20 years. You got to have little tiny people all the time. And as long as we're going there, on the basketball and the NBA side, you gotta be a little heavier, you gotta be a little shorter, you gotta be a little older, and hey, you could throw in a few white guys. They could be any size. The white guys could be big, tall white guys, but maybe you could have a couple white guys, because if the swimsuit people, if you got to put all the fat people in the swimsuits now, and you got to say, hey, then you should have to put a few white people in the NBA. On every team, there should be sprinkled a few whites. Just, because they don't deserve it. It's not the thing. The whole premise is to see who's the better basketball player, but now we're going to say, hey, you know what? It's not the premise who's the better this or the better that. It's conformity, or everybody's got to get a chance, or it's to say it's not so bad, it's not so good. No one's saying you would ever make fun of the heavyset people. No one's ever saying you would, say that, I wouldn't love my mom if she was heavyset. I wouldn't love my sister if she was heavyset. It's like saying I wouldn't love myself if I was heavyset. Some people, they're gonna be heavyset, and that's not, that. You're not going to say anything negative about those people. You're not going to say bad things about those people. What you're going to say about those people is that, you should maybe whatever. It's not my business. You don't have to lose weight. You could not lose weight, but you can't go run a marathon and expect to win first place. You're 75 pounds overweight. You can't go run a marathon and get mad if you don't finish in the top 10. Okay, that's the problem. No one's going to say the heavy people. It's like trying to explain the Allegory of the Cave. If you haven't read it, it's like trying to explain how you could put heavy people in a swimsuit issue and put it on there and market it and say, yeah, everybody, you got to do it now, and you got to like it. Your end customers, you're dictating to your end customers that they have to like something that, they may or may not, it may or may not be their, whatever. I mean, that's what I don't understand. If you got to put the heavy people in the swimsuit issue, well, what are you doing with all the really beautiful, voluptuous, beautiful, regular-sized women that could be? I'm not saying you have to put skinny people or model people, but in the swimsuit issue, you don't even want the skinny models. You want the perfect women, And if you don't get the perfect ones, I'm not buying it. You can't make me buy it. Someone said they had to make you buy it, because everybody has to share in the heavy-set swimsuit model thing and like it as much as you used to like the beautiful women in the swimsuits. They said they're going to make you do that. And I think the people who are going to make her are the ones like Joe Rogan, who's, he's trying to say it's all Fauci and it's all the government, but secretly the people like Joe Rogan are going to make us all have to, like looking at heavy-set people in swimsuits, Something's wrong, I mean, you're not going to let, when we go to the Olympics, you're not going to say, hey, the people that swim, now you go ice skate over here. And the people that used to ice skate, I don't know, go get a pole vault. Hey, I can't use a pole vault. It's okay. It doesn't matter. We're rewarding you. You're going to get a gold medal today. We're putting a swimsuit people. It used to be a thing where it was the bodies that were so perfect and the idealized version of a beautiful, voluptuous, sexy woman. But now it's the heavy set because, I don't know. You used to earn that by being, almost perfect, and now you're earning it by not being anywhere close to being perfect. And no one's saying you have to be perfect to be a mom or a school teacher or a scientist or the president or a multi-billionaire or a corporate executive. But you do have to be perfect to represent the swimsuit issue because that's the thing that it is. No one was ever saying, hey, did you see the swimsuit issue? Yeah, it's got a lot of really mediocre people in it. It was like, God, almost gave me the willies. Oh, that's what they do. That's what they're gunning for. It's just like the average. Swimsuit issue comes out once a year, and everybody ogles it, but it's just the average people. You just put the average ones in there. You don't worry about the perfect people. You're not looking for the idolized version. Yeah, you're looking for the idolized version. So, to figure out why you would you would put people in situations where, it's an idolized version, but it's not the idolized version. That's like trying to explain the Allegory of the Cave if you've never seen it or seen Orson Welles narrate it or read it. So we're going to pick up that. This concludes the first segment, and I'm so proud. As a dog, I've been hired to do a 5-part series of lectures on Plato's The Allegory of the Cave. And I hope you've enjoyed this first episode. Now, the second episode, I hope you're prepared for. I hope you've read The Allegory of the Cave, because we're going to dive into it much more deeply. But, You just wait. The second installment, everybody's going to be brought up to speed, and we're going to really dig our chops right into the meat of the Allegory of the Cave. You're going to love it.